I'm so fucking tired. Oh man, I don't know where to start. A couple of hours ago, I made the Superman video, and my unibrow is looking worse than ever. I gotta get that removed. Um, but WWDC is literally 2 days away, and since Apple's big keynote is on Monday, we're gonna talk about what I think are my final thoughts. Well, honestly, they are my final thoughts, but what I believe is going to be the last top thing we'll see at WWDC, like what I believe Apple will be showing off. Because there are a lot of Apple fans right now on YouTube, especially this guy who calls himself an Apple sheep. Pretty good way to call yourself a fan, man. But we're going to talk about what I think Apple will be giving off in terms of software, hardware, and if anything, I think it's going to be majorly focused on the software. I'm just playing with this cube real fast. But anyway, forget that. So let's start off with a little hardware. Now, I do believe the first thing we're not gonna see this right away, but I feel like we're gonna get a laptop refresh. I think we're gonna see, and I'm looking at the lineup of what could possibly, but I'm gonna say what I think is gonna be seen because there is an article here that lays out a lot of things, and I'm gonna pull out what I believe. So I do believe we're going to see a refresh on the laptops, obviously, because now that Intel has made the 8th gen i7, we might be seeing a multi-core for the 15-inch, 13-inch maybe will offer quad-core. I think for the 13 and 15-inch, I think I would say, if anything, the Coffee Lake CPU for the 2018, I think that's what they're going to put in it. As for the 15-inch, I probably could see like a 6-core. And in terms of MacBook Pro and stuff, let's talk about the keyboard issue. Will Apple bring that up? Well, it's a little hard to say because I don't know necessarily if Apple will say straight up, oh, there'll be something different in the MacBooks with the keys. But maybe there's something refreshed with the keys. Maybe there's a little improvements to reduce the amount of problems like crumbs and like if there's any debris or anything. Because I took my screen protector off and I actually like the keyboard. I'm going to be real, I actually like the butterfly mechanism. I think that I don't really have a big issue with it, but I can see why everyone is saying it's a little worried. That's why everyone goes out and buys like these things just to make sure that they don't get crumbs and stuff. The only reason I took it off is because it's hard for me to type on it with this on. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think we're going to see a refresh. Now, everyone's talking about the MacBook Air. Now, the MacBook Air hasn't been touched in such a long time. It is rumored to be a slimmed down version. It will have reduced bezels. It'll probably get good CPUs because the new ones kind of suck. Well, the ones in it now suck anyway. It says here that it may have a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 3 port, but it may have at least one of them. And apparently there may not be any connectors on it. It's really hard to say, but they're saying the MacBook Air is going to get a big refresh. I really don't think it needs to. I don't know if Apple should be selling the MacBook Air. I mean, the base model that they sell, yeah, it's definitely the best you could get. But the thing is, yeah, I do think it needs to update. But if you're going to update it and make it very similar to the MacBook, that's kind of a little pointless, if you ask me. The only thing I can say for the MacBook Air is if they do, then all right. But MacBook Air is definitely not the worst. It's definitely the lightest, and it was probably one of the best ones that Steve Jobs unveiled when he pulled it out of an envelope. That's how light it was. Now, in terms of the desktop, I don't think we'll be getting any big desktop changes. They're saying about the Mac Mini, but that thing hasn't even been touched in such a long time, so I don't even know. But if they do update the Mac Mini, I'm going to probably pick it up. Because, honestly, I want a desktop version of Mac OS instead of Windows. I'm just saying. Then iPhones and iPad, and now let's get into the big one, iOS. I already covered what I think is an iOS 12, but I think I've already done that, so we don't really need to cover iOS. However, as for the iPad, I did not talk about the iPad. I think for the iPad, we're going to get, not really software-wise, I think we're probably going to get for iOS. Now, we're not talking about design. We're talking about iOS for the iPad. For iOS and the iPad, I think we're going to get a little more support to make it more of a laptop 2-in-1 hybrid tablet. Because if you ask me, the iPad is going to get a lot more in this than the iPhones. Because the whole purpose of iOS 12 is performance, stability. But if the iPad could benefit out of this, that would be a definite major improvement. Now comes this whole thing. Now, I have been debating to cover the whole Beats, Siri thing, Apple TV stuff. Look, Apple TV is going to be fine with tvOS, but this whole rumor about Beats supposedly creating a cheaper version of Apple's HomePod to complement it, is it going to be a HomePod equivalent? I don't think so. If anything, it'll be a Siri-enabled speaker. So that's why I didn't want to cover it, because it would waste too much time. The truth is, I don't think, personally, if you ask me, I don't think it's worth like saying that it's a HomePod, a cheaper knockoff of a HomePod. Damn, thought I heard something. For me, it's like the HomePod, in my opinion, sorry, thought I saw something. For me, the HomePod, nah. I'm sorry, but I don't think that can, like, if Apple wants to lower the price on it, they can lower the price. But if they're going to throw it on Beats to make a cheaper version and be like, oh, blame Beats, no. If anything, they'll just make a Beats branded speaker, which will probably have Siri enabled in it, so it'll be a complementary to the HomePod instead of being a straight up HomePod design. Now, if it can add water resistance and stuff, that'd be cool. But do I see it as a HomePod knockoff? Absolutely not. I think it'll be its own thing, but it will definitely have Siri enabled. It's only a matter of what exactly is going to be about this speaker, if they're even going to do it. Next up on the chopping block is iPhone SE 2. Now, this has been going on for so long, and I think it's about time Apple does show it. They didn't show it at their educational keynote. They didn't show it in a while. They've been promising, and I think it's about time we see it. If we have to wait, we can wait, but I think they should show it. As in terms for the Air Power Mat, I think that's another that must be shown, because Apple has promised us so many things, and now that they did it, like they rushed it out just before the WWDC, if the Air Power Mat is not out at WWDC, then I am going to be honest, I don't think that thing will ever come out for a long, long time. I'm just saying it as it is. Now, in terms of the iPad, I think design for the iPad, I think we might. It's not confirmed because they don't focus heavily on the software, well, the hardware. But if they're going to redesign the iPad, maybe they may make it in a style for, gestures, just like an iPhone X, maybe make it like a big tablet. That could probably be unveiled some other time, but that's if they do it. I'm going off the topic, but essentially, I think WWDC is going to cover the software. If they do a few hardware improvements, it'll definitely be on the MacBooks. It'll most also probably be maybe for an iPad. And then also, the iPad mini. Will it be updated? Most likely not. We probably don't know. But if Apple does update the MacBook mini, the iPad mini, then that would definitely be a shocker, because I really do want that tablet, but I don't want to spend so much money on a outdated chip. Like, I don't want to spend it on an outdated iPad. An A8 chip? Bro, at least the budget iPad had an A9 and then an A10. So, you tell me. But that's going to do it for this video. This is my final thoughts on WWDC. If I have missed anything in the comments that you think is going to happen, I'll definitely be more than happy to write it out in the comments. But essentially, those are the big things I wanted to get to. I will leave a link to the article, which kind of breaks down all the stuff that they believe, and I just pulled out what I think will be there. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, are you hyped for WWDC? And as always, I will give you guys coverage right after WWDC. Actually, I will be home that day because there is a carnival going on, so I have no school that day. So I'm going to probably just go to the carnival for a little bit, come back, watch WWDC. I'll cover it right after it's done. I'll break it down, release it, boom. You guys know me. So thanks for watching, and peace. And time to get rid of this unibrow.